Hey everyone, this is Chris and Sandy Benton with the Chris and Sandy Show. We get up close and personal, some amazing guests throughout the entertainment industry. And today, like I said in every episode, we got a great one for you. Who do we have?
We have Chef Josie Clemons with us today. She was on Hell's Kitchen season 20, and we are going to talk about PEELED, the first ever 100% vegan chef competition show. Josie is the co-creator and head judge, and the show will premiere on September 24th.
And we're going to talk about that, her life, and then some more. Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Chris and Sandy. Thank you.
It's our pleasure.
Yes.
Let's get started in how did PEELED get started? We'll start there.
Well, PEELED was created, the visionary for PEELED is Star Simmons, and she is the founder of the Kind app, which is a completely 100% vegan platform that helps vegans locate all of the vegan goodies, all the vegan restaurants.
Yes.
And she actually reached out to me on Instagram when she had already started creating the show with her production team. And it came to her attention that she needed some help with the culinary aspect and putting together the logistics of the show. She's like, well, I'm not quite sure how this would work. And I was like, well, let's just, as first I started as a consultant. I was consulting with her once a week, and then it turned into just coming on and working with them full time.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, super, super fun, super random engagement just from her reaching out to me on Instagram. And I'm so stoked that she did.
So what was your first thought when they pitched you the show, since it's the first ever full vegan?
Well, I was really excited because, on Hell's Kitchen, I was traumatized from cooking all the meat all day. And as a vegan, you don't want to see flesh in a pan, but I allowed myself to do it just to simply be the vegan on a show like Fox, where it's being, the audience is definitely not very aware of veganism, and so it was a cool way to expose people to veganism. So when Star reached out, it was just oh, finally, this is what I was hoping would happen, was that there's more vegan shows that come out, and of course it just takes one really cool vegan chick like Star to put it together and make it happen. So I was exhilarated. I couldn't sleep for 3 days after she reached out. And as soon as we started working on it, the manic energy was off the charts. I was riding my bike a lot more than usual, that's for sure.
How's been the production side of it?
Well, the production side was incredibly stressful and fun. And, you just have a bunch of creatives and professionals on a call together, fully engaged, and we're problem solving and working logistics and organizing and making sure that we have all the details, and we're all over the country scattered, and we're gathering all of our resources that we're going to need to produce the TV show in Las Vegas. And yeah, it was a ride. It was an unforgettable ride.
Now, being on different TV shows, has that always been kind of a dream in the back of you, or did it just happen?
It wasn't ever a dream of mine. Being in California was a dream of mine since I was a really little girl. For no reason, I just wanted to be in California. And so I moved there, and Los Angeles is just it's just a magical city. It's multi-dimensional. Anything that you start to think about a lot, it appears in front of you. The number of people that you can reach at a coffee shop is just crazy. It's crazy, the different kinds of people that you can run into and network with. So that's what excites me more, and that has just landed me crazy opportunities, just going to coffee shops and talking about what I'm passionate about. So it's been, it's not necessarily been a dream, but it's become a dream that I want to pursue more of, for sure. After doing it and having so much fun.
So going back before that, when did you know that food would be your career?
I actually knew in third grade.
Oh, wow.
I was in private school, and I for the yearbook, they take your yearbook photo, of course, when you're a kid, and in my Montessori school, they also would have you draw a picture of yourself doing what you want to do in the future. And I drew myself in a chef coat and a chef hat.
Wow.
So I don't know where that came from. I think the only reason I knew what a chef hat looked like is because of the crazy chef that tries to kill the crab in The Little Mermaid. I don't know if you guys have seen that Disney movie. I think that's the only time that I'd ever seen a chef, but yeah, super, super random that my inner child knew what my future was gonna entail.
Oh, that's amazing.
Now, as you know, everybody sees the glory in what you're doing and what you're becoming, but nobody sees the grind, the sacrifice, the tears, the struggles it takes to get any level within, whether it's the food industry or entertainment industry, and you're trying to do both, so it's even harder. So let's talk a little bit about that side of it, because nobody really talks about this. What's been some of the sacrifices you've had to make to get here?
Well, that's a great question. Yeah, sacrifices means, I mean, growing up, like I didn't go to college. I was going to go to culinary school. I had like a lot of scholarships, but I chose to forgo the logical path and just make friends with uncertainty, constantly making friends with uncertainty and constantly learning how to regulate your nervous system and encourage yourself to keep going. That also means like, I mean, I don't really have like a social life. People are like, "Oh, have you seen that movie?" I was like, "No, I haven't seen that movie. I worked. I worked long hours. Like my summers look like 120-hour weeks, sometimes 150. I have carpal tunnel and arthritis at 26, so it's like,
wow,
you know, it's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of physical labor, but I don't regret it for a moment because I've had incredible people take me under their wing and teach me everything they know because they see the abuse that I'm willing to put myself through. And you know, it's not the path for everybody, but I'm definitely an experiential learner. And when you commit to yourself, there's a lot of like sacrifices that you will be able to notice when your friends or your partner, your spouse, like can't have as much time with you as they'd like. But on the upside, you also get to then do the things they don't get to do, you know? And so you just have to ask yourself if that's worth it for you. And for me, it absolutely is.
Yeah, because people don't see that. So like with us, you know, we do 30 to 60-minute shows depending on how it goes. But, you know, people see that we enjoy this. We love it.
And
we have fun. But they don't see the hours outside the show trying to book people, having people last minute. And then, okay, well, we ain't got a show today. Rearranging schedules.
I'm working outside of the show
and trying to stay afloat and all that. They don't see that side of it. They just see what we put together. And that's why I always like to talk about that, because I think sometimes people think, oh, if you're in entertainment and they see you on the screen, you've made it. And we both know that that's far from true.
Oh, wow. That's a lie. Yeah, totally. Totally. Yeah, that's a hustle. How long have you guys been doing the show?
Well, January of 2020, we launched the show, and our original plan was maybe 100 interviews our first year. And then, of course, the whole pandemic happened 2 months later, and that kind of opened the doors for us. And because of that, we ended up doing over 300 interviews that first year, and we're almost 600 now.
Wow, congratulations. That's amazing.
So it's been a lot of work to put together almost 600 interviews. And, you know, again, they're 30 minutes plus almost every one. I mean, it's been a few lower than 30, but still 30 minutes on average, 30, 40 minutes. And, you know, there have been times where we do 2 and 3 in a day. I mean, you know, especially in 2020, I think in August of 2020 was our biggest month ever. And we did 44 interviews that month.
It's crazy. We won't do that again. Yeah, no. Did that bring you to the edge?
It did. Plus, it was a little easier then because we were just an audio show at that time, not a video. So, you know, back then, even if our 3-year-old was awake,
but she was
people wouldn't see and all that when she was 1 and all that. So we were able to do multiple shows. Now we put her down for a nap during the show, and she makes it for right about 40, 50 minutes on average per nap.
those
So it
schedules
works.
a
So it
little
actually
different,
works
yeah.
really good. We can do a show. She's down for a nap and we can get through everything.
That's amazing. It's actually insane what a little bit of free time and some inspiration can do for people. And I think that the pandemic helped a little bit because now
Definitely.
on Zoom calls and stuff, when you hear babies screaming or dogs barking in the background, it's more acceptable and like you're not going to be judged on a professional level because it's like known that we're working from home now.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's awesome. Kudos to you guys
And for the entertainment industry, especially for like actors, it's actually catch-22 for a lot of actors in LA because although it's made it easier where now a lot of the actors, they audition through Zoom. But that also, the other side of that is everybody in the world can now audition for that part.
It's so true. It's so true. Technology has made, I think, this world like more competitive than ever. But on the flip side, it also allows people to really get after what they want. And now there's not as many excuses as to why you can't do something.
I mean, like I remember I've watched this TikTok person for a while now, a teacher, that she just has old crap moments in teaching. That's all she did. And she would tell stories of how the little ones would say some things and it was really funny. And, she's been doing that for several years. She is now no longer a teacher because she's a full-fledged social media influencer with hundreds and hundreds of thousands of followers. And so all of a sudden she found a career by accident.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, when people focus on, when people focus on just like the details of their life, somehow it becomes very fascinating to others. So you can make a whole career out of just doing something really simple. It's amazing.
Most definitely. Now, we talked a little bit about the sacrifice side. Let's flip the script and go to what are a few highlights that you've had? And let's start with the whole Hell's Kitchen. How did that start?
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, it was kind of brewing for a while. I've been really into personal development since high school and studying the charts of like how successful people have made it to the top of the industry. And I just realized that it requires like a different level of thinking and a different level of just operating and the way that you speak to yourself, the way that you speak to others. And in it was 2 years before we even filmed Hell's Kitchen, I said that I wanted to get roasted by Gordon Ramsay before I died. And because I had made a list of like 3 things that seemed outrageous that I wanted to accomplish, and that was number 3 on my list was get roasted by Gordon Ramsay. And the other 2, the first 2 had become a byproduct of being roasted by Gordon Ramsay. It's opened up the doors for me to accomplish the other 2 things.
That's funny.
Wow.
So that day when I wrote that on my paper in my notebook, I followed him on Twitter. I was like, how do we even access Gordon Ramsay? And I followed him on Twitter and I wrote, when you going vegan, mate? And he followed me back. Now this is on my old Twitter. I had deleted it because I didn't want people of Hell's Kitchen to like stalk me back to 2011, 2012. But so he followed me back and he liked that. And so it lit me up. I was like, oh my God, maybe it's possible. And so my excitement really grew and it showed me that, anything is possible. So at the time I was working for Tesla and I started doing consulting in restaurants just to put vegan menus in non-vegan restaurants and also help vegan restaurants that were struggling because a lot of vegan restaurants, I think, struggle with some of the business aspects of their passion projects. Mm-hmm. And at the time I was dating this guy, he took me to a family party, didn't think anything of it. I cooked a meal there. I met all of his friends. Like fast forward, I think 6 months later, and that one of the family friends at that party is Facebook friends with the casting director of Hell's Kitchen. And the casting director of Hell's Kitchen said, hey, I'm working on a new show. Can't say what it is, but I'm looking for young chefs. Does anybody have any recommendations? And he tagged me on it. And he goes, you need to have this girl on the show because she made this awesome food and she's funny and weird, blah, blah, blah. And next thing I know, this casting director is calling me through Facebook Messenger. So I'm watching the notifications pop up on Facebook of like the back and forth of the family friend from the party and the director like talking about me. And then all of a sudden the notification comes up that she's calling me. And I was like, whoa, like I was literally watching this in real time happen on my Facebook notification bar. So it was a chance, like just a chance moment.
So what was that experience like being on there?
Intense, intense, life-altering, reaffirming, so
and
many.
roasting.
Yeah, I got yelled at twice. I got yelled at for being too nice. I got yelled at for taking responsibility for other people's messes. And then I was gone. Then I was off the show, halfway through the season. But that's okay.
It still led to other great things.
Yeah, exactly. It was just the beginning. And I had kind of, I wasn't a chef at the time. I hadn't been cooking for like 2 years. So that show really brought me back into cooking and pursuing my culinary career. So I'm super grateful. Gordon is like the best guy. He is the best guy. He's a mentor. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about, and he cares about every single person that's on the show. So it was just like the ultimate experience, truly.
Wow. Love that. So what's another highlight that you've had in your life?
It has to be going to Saudi Arabia. I got to go to Saudi Arabia twice. The first one was to open a Matthew Kenny restaurant in Riyadh. And that was like the first vegan, like fine dining restaurant that had existed. And we got to open 2 concepts there, Matthew Kenny's Folia and Double Zero, which is his pizza concept. And the second time was when Prince Khalid called me in to do a demo and speak at the leadership enhancement, or the lifestyle enhancement conference. And that was all about veganism and how to be more healthy. And I got to meet like all the vegan doctors that I had seen on all the vegan documentaries. And it was just such a like mind-blowing moment. I was like, wow, I can't believe I'm here.
Love that. A lot of people, they see you, but they don't see the team behind you. In our opinion, teams never get any love. But on our show, they get some love. So take a few moments and just tell us about the team that helps you be who you are.
Oh my gosh, that's so great. Will you tell me about your team too?
Yeah. You'll meet a third one soon, our 10-year-old.
Yeah, okay.
Our secret weapon.
Yeah. Well, I think first and foremost, it's my grandmother that I have to thank, because she is a shining light in my life and reminds me to take no shit all the time. And also just to keep going. Obviously my parents, probably every boyfriend I've ever had, because they've been like a university to me and they've helped me in tremendous ways. And all my girlfriends in LA and San Diego and Hawaii, they have held down for me. They've allowed me to vent and cry when things get hard and encouraged me to keep going. And that has been the most supportive tool for me. I didn't realize how powerful girlfriends are, when you're an emotional being and you're operating in a very linear world. So it's very important to have that support. So they really raised me into being a woman. So yeah, tell me about your team, and thanks for allowing me to thank them.
Well, our team is, of course, our parents, which are all passed away now. They really helped us get to where we are today.
Yes.
In fact, we lost 2 of them this year, which has been tough.
Yeah, my mom.
So sorry for your loss.
Yeah, her mom and my dad. And they both went like in under 3 months, wasn't it?
Yeah, under 3 months apart. But they definitely always supported us and encouraged us. And
And so that's been tough, especially for our little ones and all that. And well, Caitlin, she's 3, so she don't understand. But
right. But our 10-year-old
10-year-old
does.
And we call him our secret weapon because he's our third co-host, and he comes on and asks a few questions. And what's cool about this is there are many times where if we hear the guests, like we do a lot of artists on our show, and they'll be doing a live, like maybe a couple of days later, and they're talking about their week, and they'll bring up that they also just come on the Chris and Sandy show. And if they say that 9 times out of 10, they say, "Oh, and I got to talk to their son." And so he's our secret weapon.
Almost every show with us.
So Sandy's going to go get him.
I'll get him.
I've done a lot of these shows and I've never had anyone bring on their kids. That's super special. That's freaking amazing.
And our 3-year-old, when she gets older, she'll be plugged in the show too, because we try to keep it a family affair.
Aw. Wow.
Yeah, it's there's so many careers out there that you work 60, 70, 80 hours a week away from kids. And I just never wanted to do that. And it took me years to figure it out, but finally found one that, you know what, I can involve the kids into it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I think that makes it more sustainable too, because then you get to involve your kids in what they're
and he wants to do his own podcast eventually.
Oh, really? What's your name, sir?
My name's Christopher.
Christopher, it's so nice to meet you.
Hi, Josie. So what's your favorite food?
What's my favorite food? Probably pizza or Thai food, like maybe a curry with a lot of rice. Do you like Thai food?
Has he tried Thai food?
He hasn't tried.
I don't think he's tried.
He likes spicy.
He likes spiciness though.
Okay, well, I have a homework assignment for you, Christopher. You need to try Thai food.
And what's yours?
My favorite food is pizza.
Amazing. What do you like on your pizza?
Pepperoni sauce and supreme and pepper.
And pineapple.
Pineapple.
He's got like 4
and pineapple. Okay, I like that.
It's funny. So many people have come on our show and asked, "Have you ever tried pineapple on?" And he has it. And finally, one day he's like, "Well, I want to try pineapple." So he tried it and he liked it.
Aw, good for you for trying new things.
Yes. All right. So what's your favorite TV show?
What's my favorite TV show?
Yeah.
I think it has to be PEELED, the world's first vegan culinary competition. Premiering September 24th.
Because what's yours?
Mine is SpongeBob.
SpongeBob. I love SpongeBob. Yeah,
So what's
I
your
used to watch
movie?
SpongeBob all the time. My favorite movie? I think at the moment it has to be Knives Out, and that's with one of the James Bond actors. I forget his name, but he's a detective. It's like a murder mystery and also kind of a comedy movie. It's great.
And what's yours?
Mine's Minions too.
What is it?
Mine's Minions.
Minions. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, those little minions are so cute. They keep coming out with those movies. That's awesome.
And they got a number 3 out, and we just watched it.
Oh, right.
At the theater.
The Rise of Gru Minions too.
Or Minions 2, that's right. It's called.
Mm-hmm.
Is Minions 2 your favorite, or do you like the first one?
He likes the Minions 2 the best now.
Minions 2
Yes.
now, yeah.
Cool.
Caitlin, she loves them all. She loves the Despicable Me 2. That's her fave.
Yeah, that's her favorite.
I think that's the only one that I've seen is Despicable Me. I watched that with my little sisters, and that was great.
Bye, thanks.
Bye, cutie.
Yeah, he's
He's precious.
Yeah, he loves the show, and we even got a domain already locked in. It's gonna be called Chit Chat with Chris.
Yeah.
Aww.
And what we're gonna do,
Probably launching it next year.
Probably beginning of next year or maybe spring of next year. But he wants to have it where it's a 10-minute type show where he talks with celebrities. And you know,
awesome.
Since with our connections now, because we've had a lot of celebrities come on the show, we're like, you know what, we can make this work.
That's gonna be so awesome. I love that you guys are supporting what he wants to do. I think that that's so important and so beautiful.
Yeah, because most of my life, you know, I've been, and really both of us have been like an outcast. Like, you know,
definitely.
Especially in our marriage, you know, we've been we've been married 20 years in October, and we've been pretty much
Congrats.
a 24/7 marriage. We've always together.
Always worked together.
And
yeah.
a lot of people are taken aback by that, and so we're like an outcast to a lot of people because oh, I couldn't do that, and they judge us because we're always together. And you know what? It works. I don't tell people, oh, you should do this. No, this is what works for us.
Yeah.
Black sheep unite. And same for me. So maybe that's why we're all together right now.
And that's why
Black sheep got to come together.
That's why I love what we do with the show, because what we have found is of the people that we've interviewed, a lot of people live their marriage the same way we do within the entertainment world. Outside the entertainment world, it don't happen, but in the entertainment world, it does.
Yeah.
Totally. It's great to have a partner and someone who sees when the black sheep acknowledges the black sheep in you, it becomes a really powerful force. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, what's kind of next for you outside of PEELED?
Well, we do have the premiere at the Directors Guild in Los Angeles. And I do want to say that VIP tickets are available to purchase right now for anybody who does want to come. If you guys want to come, let me know. I'll send you some invites for free. But after that, there is a lot of opportunity. I'm looking at opening a couple of franchises where vegan food meets health, but isn't really compromised on flavor. I think that's something that I get really annoyed by is when I am constantly served quinoa and kale. And I'm like, what is this? Why did I pay $10 for this? This doesn't taste good. So I would like to solve that problem. Yeah. And there are some passion projects too that I'm working on with different culinary schools. Something really important to me is nurturing this next generation of the hospitality industry, because it is going to move in such a new direction. Humans need to know how to stay relevant if it's something that they want to be a part of. So, I think that's what the next probably 6 to 9 months looks like for me.
So where do you want to be in 5 years?
In 5 years, I want to have a very successful restaurant empire that is very reliant upon technology and is truly in service, like the food is truly in service to people's health and their highest good and the environment's highest good. And I want to be able to manage that from afar and kind of be done with the hospitality industry, kind of set some new infrastructure in place and just have like a maintenance on that. And I want to start making movies and other TV shows. And whether I'm in them or just writing and directing them, I do write. I published a book in March called What Lies in the Gap. And I'm really into planting consciousness seeds and teaching people how to become more at ease, not only through food, but just through their day-to-day life and how they perceive their surroundings and how they, handle and displace that energy and those perceptions that they have on a day-to-day basis. Because it's so important. It's so important what we do with the data that we're given to ensure that we're living in harmony with ourselves and also with other people.
Yeah. And that's like we're writing a book called The Unlikely Couple, because you couldn't get two people that were so far apart. I mean, she lived in Kentucky. I lived in Georgia. We met online in 2002, back when it was taboo. Back in and we met February 2nd of 2002, talked on the phone for the first time February 4th, set a wedding date February 18th, and met in person March 4th. So we were meeting in person to see who we were going to marry.
Yeah, we were that crazy. Yeah.
And the date we set was October 5th of 2002, which is the day we married 8 months later.
That is crazy, and I love that.
And here it is, October 5th will be 20 years married. And everybody said it wouldn't work. Everybody said it wouldn't work. It wouldn't last. You won't be happy, and all that. And it's just been a crazy adventure. And,
for sure.
We really believe that there's no reason we should be together. If you look at it on paper when we first met, because I was one of them people that came from one side of the tracks. I was always in trouble. I was in and out of jail. went through 19 years of addictions. She was the most pure person you'd ever meet. So there was no reason for this to work, but yet it worked.
Wow, that is so beautiful and so inspiring. Do you guys talk about that a lot on your show? I think a lot of people need to hear that story.
Yeah, we do talk a little bit about the story, because one thing we've learned is, one thing I want to do with our show is, I don't want it to be where I ask you a question, you answer, and I ask another question. I want it to be a conversation. And, I want it to be like it's a couple people on the front porch and we're just chit chatting, because that's what, again, if we were on the front porch, we would all be talking about just different things.
Yeah, totally. And keeping it open and yeah.
And so, yeah. And what's cool about that is by us being that way, one of our actress friends that came on the show, when she heard a little bit of piece of our story, she said, when you get your book done, send it to me. Because she says, I have some people in film. I believe I can get this thing in film.
Really? Well, there you go. That's a new passion project. Keep me posted on that. I hope that's what happens. And if you need a writer, let me know. Or someone else to boss other people around as like a director. Let me know.
We will.
And that's what life is about, taking risks and going forward and all that.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of learning things in life. So let's pretend that we're 15 years down the road and you're a success on a grand scale. Whatever that looks like for you, you've made it. What do you hope you never forget?
I hope I never forget the small town values that were instilled in me, because that is truly what brought me here. Of course, I did a lot of legwork on my own to like change and grow and evolve from, my roots. But I was actually just journaling about this like an hour before I hopped on, just to remember that the roots of where I come from is what initiated me. Not only is that like what birthed me, it's what engraved that purity in bringing good values to the world into me, and everything else is a blessing and a byproduct and extra. And I think that's super important to remember, especially when you grow and you start to work with people who don't necessarily share those values, but you still have to work with them in order to accomplish a certain goal. Sometimes you can get lost and stray away from the values momentarily to get things done, but it's important to come back to, and it's important to come back to and to just like nourish yourself with that, at least, for me. So I hope that I never forget that.
Awesome.
Yeah. Great question.
What are some things that inspire you?
Nature really inspires me. People's expression, other people's expression really inspires me. It's I wasn't very expressive. Sometimes I'm still not very expressive, just as a protective measure and to be wise in society, because you never know who you're around. But when I take in other people's expression and I can accept it and understand it and get curious about it, I find it really inspiring to see what people do with the knowledge they have and the emotions that they're experiencing. So
and what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
To keep dancing in the rain. I think it's that's from my grandma. She always says that.
Because that's us.
Yes,
we've been through a lot of financial struggles through our marriage, and we've never given up on the dream. We never,
just keep going.
We just kept going. We, that there were times that she'd come to me and say, "You do know that we're at minus 200 in our bank account."
A few years ago.
And me, I'm just laid back. I'm like, it'll work out. And it always did. I mean, we always made it work somehow. But there are times we look back and we're like, wow,
how did we make it? But
we did. We're not where we need to be yet, but boy, we have come a long way.
That's incredible. I think that's so important. You've got like a logical foothold And then you have the other person who says, it's okay, let's keep going, you know, instead of being cautious and stopping and arguing. I think that's super important because that can be like the death of marriages, like it's the death of businesses, it's the death of a lot of things is fear and caution. So being able to stay grounded and also like keep expanding, keep moving, that's powerful.
Yeah.
And what's your favorite vegan dish to prepare?
Well, I think it has to be either. I grew up with a lot of Italian food. Going to Olive Garden was like a fancy thing to do when I was a kid. And so I really like lasagna and deep dish pizza. And nobody's ever mad when I serve it. So it's like one of those vegan dishes that's not controversial that I can still be creative with, but it's
love it. Awesome. And what would you like for your legacy to be? What would you like to be most known and remembered for?
Whoa, powerful questions. Wow. I want my legacy to be that people have the physical structures to remain at peace. I think that peace is like something that we have to find inside because it's hard to see it outside. But I want the external world to be a representation of what we can experience on the inside, if that makes sense, of what's available to experience on the inside. The inside, I think, should be more chaotic. I think we should be able to experience emotions all the time, but like on the outside, everything's chill. So it's like, it's okay that we're experiencing a lot of emotions. We can communicate about it. We can, you know, hash it out. We can listen. We don't have to try to change anything because we know and understand that.
So it's kind of like the duck. You know, if you watch the duck go across the water, it looks so elegant, but its feet are always moving. So yes.
Totally. And right now the outside world is like always moving and like we're like, everything's fine. Let's just live in a glass house. Everything's fine, even though like we're not fine. So I would love for that to be the inverse, and I'd love to just support that unfolding in every way that I possibly can.
Love that.
What about you guys? What is your legacy?
Well, you know, my thing is I want to be known that I didn't quit when I could have quit. In fact, when we start speaking on stages eventually, that's going to be my main theme is don't quit. This journey to get to this show has been a 20-year journey where we have launched over 100 business ideas that all failed.
Oh, we have. Yeah,
wait. You've launched over 100 business ideas.
Yeah,
we launched years.
They were ideas we had to put thousands of dollars in.
Yeah, it wasn't
because
like
I've always been an internet guy, so I've always been able to come up with ideas. I mean, like I had one idea to where we had a dining card that we were going to launch, where you just show dining card, you get a saving. Back when that type of stuff worked, and we almost had. I remember we had it to the point to where I had this idea. I didn't have the money to buy the piece of equipment to print the cards. And I remember an old Jim Rohn quote where he says, you can either buy than sell, or sell than buy. And it's always better to sell than buy. So I sold a lot of cards before I had the equipment to actually create the cards. Yeah. So I used that money to I got the money to come in, bought the machine, printed the cards, got them out there, had a handful of restaurants on board, but it did flop eventually. But again, a lot of our ideas, they worked long enough to keep us afloat until the next idea.
That is so amazing. I think that, wow, I'm so inspired by that, because to be able to fail and learn and also know that failure is a success. I mean, truly failure is just the perception of other people's. That's just like succeeding forward, you know, it's just like an accumulation of knowledge and growth. And then you get to birth something new and exciting.
Not failure, it's learning.
Yeah, and had it succeeded, maybe you would have been bored if it just, remains that forever. We would
You
get
wouldn't
bored.
believe how many of my friends through the years would say, y'all just need to go get regular jobs. I am not cut out for a 9 to 5.
Oh my God.
I am not
either.
cut out for that. So I did everything I could to try to stay afloat and do this and do that and do this. We did all
Right,
kinds
we do food delivery.
food delivery.
Still,
To stay afloat. We do everything that we can to stay afloat while we build this brand.
Right.
But again, we would have never launched this show if it weren't for all those failures, because all of a sudden I had stuff to talk about. All of a sudden I had conversations I could lead with people, and this show just all of a sudden made sense. And next thing you know, we've got a crazy show.
Yeah.
I love that so much. And do you think that this will be, what else beyond the film? What else do you think that this show and all of your 100 business ideas, what else do you think this might breed in the future?
Our whole plan right now is, of course, we're trying to build a brand here. I want it to be the show, books, speaking, and merch, all built around one brand. And we've always, even when we were networking back before, like 10, 15 years ago here in Savannah, we'd network at business events because we would launch local business things.
Mm-hmm.
And people would remember us as the couple because we always networked. Yeah. Even when our little one, when our 10-year-old
he was about 6, 7,
he went with us. People ate that up.
And he was a little pro at that. He knew how to behave at those. He was very well behaved.
Family
natural
has been our brand, and that's why we believe the whole speaking, eventually telling our story, writing books about our story, the show, which is our story in itself, where we interject with other people, helping the kids launch things
what they want to do.
So we've given up so many things outside to get narrowly focused so that we can build this brand of this show and other things. And it's sometimes you question your sanity, where you're like, are we going to make it? But then you also feel like, okay, if we were to quit now and go do something else, we would always wonder, what if? I never want to go to my deathbed wondering what if. I want to go to my deathbed knowing, you know what? I tried. I did this. I did that. That didn't work. That didn't work. This did. That did. But I want to go knowing that I gave it my all. I don't want to go in and have a pretty corpse. I want to go in that people can be like, whoa.
Closed casket. That thing is bruised and battered. That is messed up. That corpse is messed up. That corpse is Liz. I love that.
So as we start to close out here, what advice would you give someone who wants to do what you do, whether it's the food or entertainment or both? What advice would you give?
I think that finding your excitement is the most important thing, because when you don't have the logic, when you don't have the resources, when you don't have the skills, but you really want to do something, you just need to find your highest excitement. And then the only logic that you need to continue to have endurance is to find out, just through your imagination, what ways you think that what you're doing can benefit other people. And that will reinforce you as you start to doubt yourself. You need to remind yourself what it is that you're accomplishing, not only for yourself through your selfish reason of being excited and having fun and growing, but also selflessly, oh crap, yeah, that's right, people actually are going to need this. And you have to sell yourself on that. And if you're not sold, it's also a great refinement tool to figure out how to make it benefit more people. And I think that that's a winning formula in any industry with anything that you do.
Love that. Tell everybody how they can find you.
Oh, thank you. I think the best way is Instagram. I'm super responsive on Instagram. If you send me a message, I'm the only person that manages my Instagram. It's Vegan Chef Josie, all one word, no dots, no underscores, no nothing. Like, it's just Vegan Chef Josie, and that is the best way to contact me. If you have any questions, if you have something that you want to pursue, if you want to come to the premiere at PEELED, if you want to live stream it, I can tell you how to do that. All of the questions that you have, if you want to like have an esoteric conversation, also hit me up for that. Chris and Sandy, you guys are awesome.
Oh, thanks so much.
We definitely appreciate that.
it. Thank you for your time
And you know, we
today.
definitely enjoyed you being on the show,
did.
and we look forward to having you back down the road.
Yes.
Oh, I would love to be back, and I hope that Chris has more questions for me too, because what an angel boy.
Oh, we appreciate it. And he
thanks so
appreciates that
much.
too.
He does. Yes.
And you have a great day.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. You too.